We hear about advanced AI all the time, but it's not just about chatbots anymore. It's being plugged into the very heart of our most critical industries. And today, we're diving into one of the biggest and most high stakes of them all, the energy sector.
Yeah, you heard that right. We're talking about AI systems making real-time decisions that literally keep the lights on for all of us. I mean, think about it. Predicting when an offshore platform needs maintenance, managing the flow of electricity across an entire country. The potential here for making things safer and way more efficient is just huge. But here's the million-dollar question, right? In an industry where one tiny mistake can lead to a catastrophe, what happens when that super smart AI gets something wrong? It's this incredible promise, but it comes with some serious peril. So let's really get into it.
All right, first up, AI, the new powerhouse. Let's break down exactly why the energy industry is so excited about these new tools. I mean, the benefits are pretty darn compelling.
So why all the excitement? Well, just try to imagine the sheer scale of these operations. These AI models, these LLMs, they can just chew through mountains of tedious compliance paperwork that would take people ages. They can watch thousands of sensors at once, catching tiny problems before they become big ones. Oh, and they can even help beef up cybersecurity. It really is all about being faster, smarter, and ultimately a whole lot safer.
Okay, so that's the shiny, promising side. But there's a flip side, a kind of ghost in the machine that we really need to talk about, because if we're not careful, it could unravel all those amazing benefits.
And this right here perfectly illustrates a huge weakness. Look at this. If you ask a super vague question like, hey, is gas in pipelines dangerous? You get a totally generic, unhelpful answer. But if you're an expert and you ask a very specific, technical question, boom, you get a detailed, useful response. What does that tell you? The AI is only as good as the person using it. And that brings us to the big one, AI hallucination. Now, this doesn't mean the AI is seeing things. It means it just makes stuff up. It will state something as fact with complete confidence, but it's totally wrong. It'll invent sources, get data mixed up, you name it. And look, if your chatbot does that, it's kind of funny. But if it happens in a safety report for a power plant, that's not funny at all. That's a huge, huge problem.
This whole hallucination issue actually spins off into three massive headaches when it comes to managing these systems. First, the outputs are often untraceable, so good luck auditing anything. Second, you can ask the same question twice and get totally different answers. And third, this one is a real doozy. It creates something called responsibility diffusion.
Just think about it for a second. When a mistake happens, who's on the hook? Is it the person who wrote the prompt, the team that trained the AI, the programmer who wrote the code, or maybe the human who was supposed to check the work but just clicked approve? See? Accountability just gets lost in this tangled mess. It becomes a giant game of finger-pointing.
So, what do? We can't just throw this tech away. The upside is way too big. The answer is to build a smarter system around it, to create some intelligent guardrails, basically a digital leash to keep the AI on the right path.
Which leads to the obvious question. How on earth do you build a safety net for an artificial intelligence? Well, the answer is pretty fascinating. It's not about making the AI itself better, but about building a smarter environment for it to operate in. And it breaks down into a few key parts.
Okay, piece number one of our digital leash is the Structured Evaluation Framework, or SEF. The easiest way to think about this is like a strict report card for everything the AI spits out. Every single answer gets graded. Can we trace it back to a real source? Can we get the same answer again? How likely is it that this is just a hallucination? It's not about feelings. It's a cold, hard, data-driven quality check.
Next up, we have something with a mouthful of a name. Agentic Escalation Trigger Protocols, or AETPs. Just think of these as the AI's emergency brake. They're built-in rules that force the system to slam on the brakes and yell for a human. If the AI is not sure about its answer, if it's dealing with a supercritical task, whatever the reason, it automatically stops and gets a person involved. It's a non-negotiable failsafe.
And all these pieces fit together into a bigger system called a validation layer architecture. Let's just walk through how it works, because it's pretty slick. Step 1. The AI generates an answer. Immediately, it goes through an automated check for simple errors, then another check to make sure it's actually on topic. If any of those automated checks raise a red flag, bam, they get sent to a human expert. Only if it passes every single one of these gates does it get to go into a live system. It's like a fortress with multiple walls of defense.
Okay, so that all sounds pretty good on paper, right? But does it actually work in the real world? Let's take a look at the data.
This table here tells you everything you need to know. You see a clear trade-off. Take a look at drafting a compliance report. Sure, the fully autonomous AI is way faster, 9 minutes versus 22. But look at the accuracy, only a 63% match. Now that's interesting. But the really crucial one is the third row down, incident response suggestion.
And this is where it gets scary. The AI was faster, yeah, but its suggestions for how to handle an incident were only right 2 out of 5 times. Even worse, it completely missed critical steps that needed to be taken. In an emergency, that's not just bad, that's potentially catastrophic. It proves that speed means nothing if the answer's wrong.
So the smart way to do this is to get ahead of the problems, and that's exactly what this governance risk register is for. Teams literally sit down and brainstorm what could go wrong, like the AI making up regulatory rules. Then they figure out how to stop it before it ever becomes an issue. It's all about being proactive and building safety in from the start, instead of just cleaning up messes later.
So where does this all leave us? What's the big takeaway for the future of AI in these critical fields? Well, it's pretty clear it's not about humans versus machines. It's about finding a new way for us to work together, smarter systems and wiser humans.
So the roadmap to using AI responsibly looks something like this. First, we have to stop treating AI like some kind of magic box. It's an incredibly powerful tool, but it's also a flawed one. That means we have to build these safety checks in from day one, not tack them on at the end. Every single thing the AI does needs to be traceable. And for the really big decisions, you guessed it, there has to be a human in the loop, period.
And really, when you boil it all down, that's the core message here. The next big breakthrough in AI isn't going to be a fancier algorithm. It's going to be us, figuring out how to build the systems of oversight and accountability we need to manage the incredible power we already have. Which really leaves us with one final big question. We already know how to make AI powerful. The real challenge, the thing that's going to define our future, isn't making the AI smarter, it's making ourselves wise enough to use it.